Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything is going to be okay. I'm here on my normal mode save in the Eisentam Galaxy to bring you a Waking Titan report. This was going to be the 30th report I've done in this year, 2018, and we're still far from being done. But let's go ahead and get to it. So, in my last report, I mentioned that we have a new thing to do with the SATCOM 70 uplink. Now, whenever the satellite is over our current location, we get an MP3 audio file. And people have been listening to that, and I've been listening to that. They've been trying to figure out things with the file names and see if there's some kind of code hidden inside the audio files, but nobody's been able to get anything from that. But listening to it over and over, I finally decided I think I know what the sound effect is. It sounds just like when asteroids hit your ship in No Man's Sky. Sometimes it's the sound of like one asteroid hitting your ship, or it's like 2 or 3 hitting your ship at once. But it's just like the sound effect when that happens in the game. And this fits with the fact that when we were trying to help Arnaud, his employee ID, when you type that ID number into the wakingtitan.com command panel thing, it gives this lore that says something about there being asteroids, like ice, rock, metal fragments in an asteroid field, and that his little ship had no chance. So it's like lore from in No Man's Sky that we don't currently have. That lore doesn't exist in the game right now, but it sounds like someone saying that they were flying their ship into an asteroid field and all the chunks of things were hitting their ship, and it must have, like, you know, caused them to crash because it said that the ship had no chance. So I think that that's what this sound file is, because Arnaud was supposedly trapped in the Ware system, and right now we're trying to get information from Ware through their satellite, and so we've got this sound effect of a ship being hit by asteroids when we also got that lore from Arnaud's employee ID. So that's what I think it is. But like I said, we haven't been able to find the password that the Uplink app is asking for yet. But another thing is Emily posted on Reddit. I told you about that, and yeah, I didn't tell you about this yet. She started to comment on her own Reddit post, and she commented 6 times, and each time she said the exact same thing, which was in the audio file that she originally posted. It's just the lyrics to that song Tonight by LCD Sound System, but she posted it 6 times, and it's the same exact 4 lines that say, see if I can remember it, I forgot to write it down. It says, and you're too sharp to be used, and you're too shocked from being used by these something children of the bullying, by these bullying children of the fabulous trying to auction off limited edition shoes. But the important thing is, people recently discovered that the 6 times she posted those lyrics, they were actually different. If you highlight them and copy and paste her posts and put them into some kind of different, text recognizing program, not the internet, like you put it into Microsoft Word or someplace else, there's actually hidden dashes and different sizes of text, because Reddit, I know, Reddit will ignore a lot of your text editing that you type in unless you use Reddit's specific editing things. Like if you don't do line breaks properly, it won't actually show the line break. So basically she's hidden these different text formats, dashes and such, and different size text in her posts. But despite people discovering that, I don't think we've been able to decipher anything from that either. But it may help us later, knowing that there is... I don't know. It's probably going to be useful later, but I just wanted to mention that. So if you want to go to the Reddit post on No Man's Sky the game subreddit, and the post is loop 16 sequence 25, you can find out about that. But more importantly, we got a new email from Old Gods, and I'm going to read through that email now. The email, we got the email June 2nd, today, when I'm doing this this report, and we got it about 10:03 a.m. Central Time. Okay, it says, Dear Citizen Scientist Division, our investigation into the Ware incident is still ongoing, and we... Sorry, trying to play while also reading this. And we wanted to give you an update on what is happening right now. We will keep giving you key updates throughout the month and alert you to any key documents or findings along the way. 16 participants will be rewarded with a new limited edition Atlas Pass. Filling out this form may help us greatly in the next phase of our mission. So they're offering a new type of Atlas Pass, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be metal Atlas level 4 passes, because back in the January live drop, way back at the beginning of all this, Chris Kerrigan, one of the guys who tried to go to the live drop, was in a wreck, and the puppet master Anashel posted on Discord and said that Chris Kerrigan would be receiving a metal Atlas level 4 pass for his troubles, because he was rear-ended, and of course, you know, that's no good. So for public relation purposes, and, you know, to be nice to him, they promise that they're going to give him a metal Atlas level 4 pass. So I think that is this limited edition Atlas Pass. So there's going to be 16 of them given out. I don't know if one of those is going to be Chris Kerrigan's, or if he's going to get an extra 17th or what. But they also gave a survey, like it said, but oddly enough, the survey didn't ask for my email, so I don't know if doing the survey actually helps your chances of getting the Atlas Pass or not. But regardless, there is a survey to fill out, but I will go over that survey later, but I'm going to read the rest of the email. It's been a year since your last psychological test. We don't know what challenges we are about to face, but the HR department has asked me to have you fill out form ID 7615B. So that's where the link was to the survey, which I'll go over later. And then the next section says Operation A1-4. The Citizen Science Division has been... the Citizen Science Division has been extraordinarily helpful in the past week. Your combined telemetry data is helping the engineers at Myriad to stabilize and diagnose the issues with their satellite. At 1616 EST, a new signal was registered. We invite all citizens to listen to their uplink app when the satellite is over their house and report any findings in the main investigation thread. And there's a link to a Reddit thread where they are also discussing this. Yeah, that was the new uplink app thing I was telling you about. So when the satellite is over your area, you're able to get a new file. And every time, well, every hour the uplink app changes, or sorry, the file that you get changes. So, but the files are actually identical, people are pretty sure. Every time it's the same audio file, but the file names have been changing. So every hour the file name changes, but it's the same sound being played. And I'll go over later what might be significant about that. And then the email goes on to say Emily's last contact, and it has a picture of Emily from the video that she uploaded a couple weeks ago. With the help of the Citizen Science Division, we now have a direct contact with Emily. Her situation is stable but still critical. Unfortunately, it seems that one of Ware's tech research labs is continuing to upload corrupted data to the satellite. This bad data may be causing further damage to the network and to Emily. We need to analyze her recent interactions to figure out if she was able to make predictions that could help to identify and isolate the source of the broadcast. Please find below a list of Ware research labs and their approximate locations. I will need a full report on how the issue was diagnosed and the name of the responsible location before we can proceed. Loop 16 appears to be currently active on Reddit, so you can upload this report to her existing thread. I know this is a large task, but I am confident in your abilities. And then it has this short list: laboratory listing, Boston, Richard Wilkes, Sacramento, Helga Johnson, Seoul, Yu Hyo, Beijing, Wang Ji, Prague, Adriana Dvorak, Berlin, Georg Mueller. And then it's signed, and well, it lists some more places that you can discuss this, like Atlas CSD and such. And then it's signed Major Sophie Dubois. So, I guess somehow a puzzle we're going to get soon, or maybe the puzzle that we already have, will allow us to figure out which lab on this list is the lab that's sending corrupted data to Emily. And I think Emily is basically in the satellite, so it's kind of cool because, of course, a lot of people think Emily is the Atlas, and I guess she's in a satellite that is rotating around the Earth, and it's shown on the Satcom 70 website to be a big red area. So basically that satellite is like an Atlas station, because that's what Atlas stations are like. They're these big, with a red orb inside, satellites out in space in the game No Man's Sky. So it's kind of more evidence that Emily is the Atlas is in a, you know, big space station out in space. But anyway, now I'm going to go over the survey that they sent us, the new survey, which is, it gives us some very interesting new information, I think, or some hints as to what we're dealing with here. Questions number 1 says, please select your CSD designation. So if you got an Atlas pass, or if you remember Because way back in the first Waking Titan, they gave everybody who was signed up to the email designations, EST designations, but unless you wrote it down or you still have the email, you may not remember what your designation is unless you got an Atlas Pass, level 4 Atlas Pass, which has your designation on it. And I still have mine, of course. I did a video of me opening it, and my designation is 16A, so I put that in. The number 2, it says, please select previous major assignments you have participated in. And they basically listed the different phases that we've had this year in Waking Titan, such as Saving Our No and the Ware Game Jam, where we made our submissions to Ware of different games that we would make on their headset platform. And then number 3 says, do you feel your assignments have been in general too easy, yes or no? And I said no, because I think the assignments, the different puzzles in this part of Waking Titan have been way too difficult. Because some of them, like in the first Waking Titan, once people explained to me how they were solved, then I could understand it. I was like, oh, that's pretty easy. There was like Morse code hidden in the pictures and stuff like that. But in this phase, even after the puzzles have been solved, I still don't understand how some of them were solved. Like, I can't even describe what some of these puzzles were like because they were so difficult. And I've like watched Galactic News Hub and read game detectives trying to explain it, and I still don't understand some of them. So I think the puzzles have been too hard. So I definitely put no, it has not been too easy. Number 4, would you prefer CSD assignments to focus more on personal missions, individual challenges, collective online missions, or live events? And I chose, on mine, I chose personal missions, because we haven't had a lot of personal missions. I think the satellite uplink thing is basically the first personal mission we've had this year. Last year in Waking Titan, we had these really cool personal missions where you got emailed this decoder ring thing that you had to print out, and you had to solve something based on your own personal ID number and such. But we haven't really had much of that this year, other than this new satellite uplink thing. We've had a bunch of live drops, which I and others have complained that the live drops were a bit lackluster and not as interesting, except for L Plays Gaming and Robot Boy. They made their live drops really fun and exciting, but the Canadian live drop and the Louvre in Paris, France live drops were like, there was almost no footage of them, and I don't think they even got something at the Louvre. I think they just found something at the museum that led to the next clue, and it wasn't even really a live drop. It was just them being led to somewhere in the museum. So I definitely didn't want to choose live drops, and we've done a whole lot of collective online missions, which are basically all these different puzzles we've been solving. So I chose, I would like more personal missions. It'd be cool if we got something like the decoder ring again, that everybody could do themselves at home and wouldn't be so difficult that we couldn't do, you know? Because I was actually able to decode mine with my decoder ring, so I actually felt like I was doing something. Number 5, have you ever tried the Ware headset? And I definitely said no, because the Ware headset, of course, is fictional. I think anyone that says yes to that is lying, because it's not a real thing. I mean, if there's a prop that looks like it, it doesn't actually do what it supposedly does. It doesn't actually project things into your dreams. But I definitely said no, I have not tried the Ware headset. Number 6, have you experienced abnormal dreams lately? And I definitely said yes. I have definitely been having abnormal dreams. In fact, last night I had a lot of kind of lucid dreams, because I was kind of going in and out of awake and falling back asleep, because there was a storm last night, by the way. I would have gotten this out sooner, but my internet got put out due to the storm, so I actually didn't get internet until like half an hour ago. So, but because of the storm, I was woke up and went back to sleep several times in the night last night, and like every time I slipped in and out of sleep, I would dream and then I'd wake back up. I would dream, wake back up, and I had a lot of really weird, crazy stuff. I can't really remember now, but I think it had something to do with my cat and somebody's eyes being shut with Play-Doh or something. I don't know. It was a lot of really crazy dream stuff I kept having. But yeah, I've been having a lot more dreams lately. Probably due to different things that have been going on in my life. But, okay, the next thing is the really important part of the survey. Number 7, have you ever participated in a remote neural monitoring project? And I had to look this up. This is a defense system using satellite relayed electro-optics to measure, image, and transmit brain and nerve activity of an individual. So this, I think, is the ARG implying that that's what the satellite is doing. It is a remote neural monitoring project. It is using satellites to monitor people's brain waves. And I also think that it's possible that they will eventually attempt to control us through our dreams, since Ware supposedly has the technology to project dreams into people's brains. I think they're actually going to use the satellite to do that. They're going to try to pull us into their Ware system through our dreams while we're sleeping. So I think this is the ultimate goal of Ware, is to control people through their dreams, and they're using remote neural monitoring. And it's kind of scary that this is a real thing. I looked it up. Edward Snowden talked about it. Like, he said that, I don't know, I mean, Edward Snowden mostly did whistleblowing on America, so maybe America is doing this as well, using satellites to monitor people's brain activities. But of course, the satellite that we're following, the real satellite, SJ1602, is a Chinese satellite, which we think it's a secret, top secret spy satellite, we think, that is probably monitoring electronic communications. But the idea that it might also be doing remote neural monitoring is kind of scary, that they're actually possibly trying to measure people's brain waves. So it might actually be a project to read people's mind, in a sense. Of course, we can't actually read people's minds yet, like actually see what they're thinking, but I mean, this is a real thing, so I don't know what exactly they can measure from people's brains. We have EEG, which can measure people's brain waves that will tell us if they're awake or asleep, if they're dreaming or not, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, that's probably the extent of what this kind of thing can do currently, but as far as the ARG goes, it probably is going to have something to do with controlling us through our dreams. But anyway, moving on. Number 8, describe in one sentence what you see in this picture. And it was a kind of an ink blot, except it wasn't just black and white, it was like white and blue and red. It looked to me like a butterfly, so I put that it looked like a butterfly, and I recently saw a really cool butterfly here in the Eisentam galaxy, so I put that it's a butterfly from a boiling temperatures planet in the Eisentam galaxy. Unfortunately, I found out later that there's actually a hidden image in the ink blot that is part of the new cover art for the Xbox release of No Man's Sky. So you can actually see part of the ship in the Xbox cover art kind of hidden in that image. So the correct answer is probably that you see a spaceship on an alien planet or something, but I didn't see that when I did the survey, so I just put that I saw the butterfly. But okay, number 9. Which of the following fields do you have experience in? And it lists several things like advanced mathematics and such. I chose two of them, discourse analysis and semiotics. That is basically analyzing written word, because I actually teach reading in my profession. Semiotics is like finding hidden symbols and such, which I've done a little bit, mostly thanks to Viking Titan and No Man's Sky, you know, translating the portal symbols, or rather communicating them to other people. And then I also chose sleep and brain disorders. I haven't, well, actually, I work very closely with brain disorders in my field of education. Not so much sleep, but like I said, I do have a lot of dreams, which I try to interpret sometimes. So that's the two things I chose, discourse analysis and semiotics, and sleep and brain disorders. And then the final question, 10, do you have any messages to share with Atlas headquarters or the Atlas operations team? And I typed in, I believe Emily/Loop16 is showing signs of rampancy due to her advanced human-like personality program and attempting to predict too far into the future, possibly to the end of the universe. That is my prediction, what's going on with Emily. Of course, they're saying that Ware is transmitting corrupted data to Emily, but also that she is trying to make predictions. But honestly, I think we're going to defeat Ware fairly soon and stop them, but I think we're still going to have to find out what's going on with Emily. And based on No Man's Sky lore and Atlas Rise's storyline and everything, I think that's what's going on with Emily. Other than being harmed by Ware, I think she's also developing rampancy, which is a term used in different sci-fi and video games for when an artificial intelligence tries to basically become too human. They have human-like emotions, and they get too much data and such, and they start to go insane. I think that's what's going on with Emily. She's going insane from all this data that she's receiving, and she is designed to be have a very human-like personality. And No Man's Sky even talks about rampancy in it, so I think that that's what's going on. And I also think she's trying to predict too far in the future, because the Atlas, we know, is trying to predict its death, or the death of the universe. I think that may be happening to her as well. She's trying to predict too far into the future, and it is harming her to know what's going to happen in the end of everything. But those are all just my predictions. But that was the final question on the survey, and I submitted it. But like I said, it didn't ask for my email, so I don't know if this survey is going to actually improve our chances of getting the one of the 16 limited edition Atlas level 4 passes or not. But there you are. Anyway, I will put lots of links in the I will put lots of links in the pinned comments to help you get to all of this stuff. If you aren't on the email list yet, I'll put a link for how you can get onto the Waking Titan email list. Unfortunately, actually, I'll probably put a link to the survey if you want to take the survey, but you'll also need to sign up for their email list at the Citizen Science Division website. So I'll put links to both of those, to both the survey, so you can take it if you want, and the email list website where you can give them your email. Lastly, most important thing is, so we have these audio files that we're getting from the uplink, and we think, what some people think is there's some kind of blip in the audio that occurs 1 second earlier every hour, every time it changes, and it always changes at 16 past the hour. But they think that this blip is going 1 second earlier every time, and it's basically a countdown, and the countdown will complete at 5:16 p.m. Eastern time, which is 4:16 p.m. Central Time, which I think is roughly almost only 2 hours from now. A little over 2 hours from the time of me recording this video. So in 2 hours, something else may happen because we've got this countdown going on with the satellite uplink thing. But I'll put the satellite uplink link in the pinned comment, as well as the Myriad dashboard link again, and also a link to the survey and a link to Atlas Citizen Science Division if you want to sign up for their emailing list. But anyway, something may be happening within the next couple hours, so I may be doing another report at that time. But anyway, sorry there's so much information to process from this video, but that's the best I can do, is try to give you all the information. But I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and remember, everything is going to be okay.